Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first meeting of 2009 of Arts and Culture Commission of the City of Glendale. And on behalf of the commissioners, I wish you all a happy new year and a very successful new year this year. And in the absence of the current chairman, I would like to entertain a nomination from the commissioners to have a pro tem chair for today. Yes, Commissioner Wagner.
I nominate you.
Thank you.
I second it.
Thank you. Any other? Okay, so let's have a quick roll call on this, please.
Commissioner Stepanian?
Aye.
Commissioner Lee?
Yes.
Commissioner Delvanisian?
Yes.
Commissioner Solis is absent. Commissioner Wagner?
Yes.
Commissioner Gregorian?
Yes, thank you.
Chairperson Kivanian is absent.
Okay, so with that, let's have a roll call for the commissioners.
Commissioner Stepanian?
Present.
Same thing.
Commissioner Lee?
Present.
Commissioner Delvanisian?
Present.
Commissioner Solis is absent. Commissioner Wagner?
Yes.
Commissioner Gregorian?
I'm here.
Chairperson Kivanian is absent.
Okay.
Let me just read that the agenda for January 15th meeting was posted on the bulletin board outside City Hall on January 9th, 2009.
Okay, thank you. Next item, please.
Consent item, approval of regular commission meeting minutes from December 18th, 2008 at 2 p.m.
I move approval with two corrections,
Okay.
just to clarify. On page 3, second paragraph, my comments on the Masonic Temple, it says, which is currently being used by a noise within, be used as an arts facility administered by the city. What I believe I said was to maintain some space for use as an arts facility, a room or something. And down on the sentence, sort of mid-sentence, where it says, George said that the commission can send a letter to the redevelopment agency to let them know that they are interested in seeing that the building be, and it says be used, I would suggest include some space for use for art. So they don't think I know that it's a little cost prohibitive to take over the whole building. So
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone seconding the motion with the corrections?
I second it.
Okay. Any other comments on the minutes? All right, let's have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Stepanian?
Aye.
Commissioner Lee?
Aye.
Commissioner Delvanisian?
Aye.
Commissioner Solis is absent. Commissioner Wagner?
Yes.
Commissioner Gregorian?
I abstained because I was absent.
Chairperson Kivanian is absent.
So with 4-1, it carries. All right, thank you. The next item, please.
Introductions and presentations? None.
Okay.
Next is oral communications.
Well, this is the time where the public is allowed 5 minutes to speak on the issues related to us, but I don't have any cards, so if there are no more cards, maybe we can table this later in case somebody later on wants to speak, but right now we don't have anyone, so let's go on the next item, please.
Business agenda reports, new and scheduled art projects for 2009.
Okay, Ribs, ma'am.
On today's agenda, you'll notice there are two items. One is the Diamond Awards as an action item and staff's report. We'll give our report first to give you an idea about our upcoming projects first before we go to the action item, the Diamond Awards. And the purpose of doing that is just to give you that whole idea is what is need more attention right now and needs immediate attention from us. That's why I would like to start with the report. And the very first project I want to talk to you about is the Men's Inhumanity to Men project. We had a very, very busy week related to this event, Men's Inhumanity to Men. On Monday, we had a report for the main committee where we represented the works and the progress the subcommittee has made until now. On Tuesday, the subcommittee meeting was held here at the Parks conference room, and as of yesterday, we are very pleased. I'm very pleased to announce this now. We know for sure that Men's Inhumanity to Men project is being sponsored by a very generous donor, and we'll go back and talk about that in more details later on. Which means now that we have the project has been funded, now we can go ahead and start planning and focus more on the creative side of the project, like programming and publishing the catalog for Men's Inhumanity to Men. The second project, which is actually in progress, is the Diamond Award. And we have formed 2 judges panels, and currently we are contacting them to confirm their availability and their willingness to serve on this panel. We reserved the location and the date. The judges will meet the first week of February, and they will review all the applications for the Diamond Awards and the supporting materials. And then after they've finished their business, on our next February meeting, they will bring their recommendations for your approval. Now, I would really like to talk about one of the projects that we've been mentioning on and off, but now it's really taking a serious form, and that's the Art in the Park project, which is very exciting for us. And the name says it all. This is an art exhibition and music and theater and dance and food in one event at the park. As of now, we haven't made final decisions, or we can't really say that it's finalized, because we really like to talk to you and get your input on this project. But we feel Brent Park will be perfect for this kind of project. It's next to the gallery, and it's beautiful. It has all that important ingredient for this kind of event to take place. And I think the best time to hold this event will be June, end of June. Again, we need to go back and double check that there aren't any other major city event, around that time interfering with this event. But it feels like this is something new. It's not a new concept, but it will be brand new for our city to see, what kind of impact it will have on our community and how it will be received by the community.
So you're anticipating
Organizing
the second half of June, or later?
End of June, right after schools are closed.
Schools are done in 19.
Schools are done, but before July 4th, we're thinking it has to be not too hot, summertime, before it gets really, really hectic.
So maybe would it be over the weekend, or is it a day?
It will be great Saturday and Sunday. This should be a 2-day event.
So the 27th, 28th is the most likely, you think?
That's what I'm thinking, 27, 28.
Sounds fun.
Great. The other project that I would really like to introduce you, I'm thinking it will be great for our artistic community, is to prepare educational workshops quarterly. These workshops, of course, will support artists and art organizations. And the topics that I think we should offer to our artistic community should be the public art. By being around artists for so long and being approached by them so many often at different times, I really know what is it that we can do for them to help them to succeed in their career, professionally and creatively and financially. And public art is one of the areas that they really have very limited knowledge. We can give them guidelines, policies, rules how to submit their proposals. This way the the artistic community will be prepared to present their projects for our different art events, art in the park projects, something similar to our mini gas station that we are currently planning to form a policy for. Grant writing workshops will be great for artists, and we will need to invite a professional grant writer who will give them all the directions and guidelines how to apply for grants. Portfolios are very important for artists because that's the very first place they start from when they go and represent their art. I feel personally very confident to be able to help them with those kind of workshops to show them how to prepare a winning presentation, master portfolio for their career. And then list of things that will be very, very useful for artists is alternative income opportunities to teach them, to show them what are the other venues that they can go and show their work, how to do a successful trade show, home show, small show, big show, many different form of art shows that they can do and get major benefits out of those events. Then I think providing them sample forms, contracts, copy of contracts, how to get into the publishing market or into the licensing market and have all the guidelines again, and the forms will be just great. We can go on and on because there are so many other areas in organizing workshops, and I think doing it quarterly will be right for us as a beginner and see how it's been received and which areas they need more help, and revisit our programs and redo it and present them with most effective way. The other project that I have for 2009 is the 6th annual Open Studio Tour, and this is nothing new. It's 6th annual Open Studio Tour, and if you remember, last year we decided that the Open Studio Tour for this year will take place in September, and because of the Brand Library's renovation plans, the exhibition portion of the event will take place at the Central Library. We can go ahead and plan that. I have my own suggestion. We think that it will be great for us maybe to, instead of the Open Studio Tour this year, maybe we should try a Chuck Festival. It's just a suggestion. Until Brand Library will be ready again to... my concern is, to be honest with you, the concern is that we don't know how the number of participants, how will affect changing the venue from the Brand Library to the Central Library. Most of the artists, they love the prestige of the Brand Library. That's why they come. We have an experience when some artists, they just registered to be part of the Brand show, and they didn't even open their studios during the Open Studio Day. So I want to prepare all of us for seeing maybe less number of participants for the 6th annual Open Studio Tour if we move it from Brand Library to the Central Library.
Yes.
I have two things. First on that one, I remember there was some discussion after the Open Studio Tour last year of trying, because it was so big, because there were so many studios to try to get to try to split it up to perhaps 2 events, or in this case maybe to consolidate and make it
centralized.
A centralized tour.
So it will be easy for people to come and see as many artists as possible.
I think it would be much easier to have it a little smaller if we're just going to do one. So that's one thought on that. I just wondered, I don't know if you know someone you would want to do a grant writing workshop, but I happen to know a woman who is both an artist, a visual artist, and a grant writing consultant who does trainings, and I will give you her information.
Fantastic. Well,
She trains for people to, not just to get one grant,
is
but
she
it's,
from a Center for Innovation?
no, her name is Linda Vallejo, and she has A to Z grant
She's a
writing.
lady. I
Oh,
took
okay.
a class from her.
Oh,
And
okay.
I had her in my mind.
Okay, well,
to contact her.
she just emailed me the other day. Her husband was in kindergarten with my husband.
Oh, great.
They
Yes.
have a long relationship.
Recently.
She was able to bring more than $5 million, I believe. I hope I'm not wrong, but for
Oh, I'm
other
so
artists,
happy.
and she has worked more than 20 years doing
Doing this.
grant writing, art grant writing,
Oh, good. Okay.
specific area. Yeah.
Does that conclude your report?
Chuck Festival, I think it's something that we should consider maybe to try a Chuck Festival in 2009. The other area we already have started working with Richard and with this new very bright lady in our Parks Department, developing policies and guidelines for public art and procedures for art projects in the mini gas station. These are some of the stuff that we're planning to achieve in 2009.
Right.
By report.
That concludes your report. Yes.
And
Commissioner Wagner.
And you're still working only
20
how
hours.
many? 20 hours a week.
Only. Actually, I think in reality she works about more.
I am
Being paid
doing
20 hours.
more.
Yeah.
No, I'm working more hours than 20,
Oh, okay.
but less than 40 hours.
39. Okay. Any other comments or questions from Ms. Marashian? Yes,
I
Commissioner
want to
Lee.
say it's very good work, and I'm impressed, and I'm ready to work with you to help you achieve these goals.
Very
Do we
good,
need
thank
to plan perhaps for the next meeting to give direction on Chalk Festival versus should that be?
You know, this is not an action item. It's a reports only. But we can certainly ask her to do certain things. But we cannot take official action on this.
That was the intention for me to start with the report. So
that we can
you
come
will
back.
have an idea what kind of projects we have in mind, and with your suggestions and with your ideas, we can come back and talk more about this thing.
You know, one suggestion that I have, although it might be a little too early, on the open studio tour, if we do the exhibition at the Central Library, which is quite a good spot, very central, there are many students and kids going there, and also it's very close to the Americana. So maybe that weekend, if we can, weather permitting, if we have the area around it, the green area around it, to have some kind of an arts in the park type of exhibition, combined with the open studio tour, and direct some crowds from the Americana, I think that would definitely pull a lot more number of people than if it is somewhere as good as brand galleries are. So maybe we could, if we do decide to do it in the Central Library, we can probably utilize their grounds also, and that might be something to look into.
I believe Art in the Park should be a bigger project, and it should have its own voice. And
No, I'm not talking about the Art in the
with
Park.
open studio tour, if I understood you correctly, you said open studio tour at Central and maybe outside green area as an Art in the Park.
We had, in the past, we've had some artists who had preferred, rather than, opening their studios and homes, some artists took work in their own homes, in their own kitchens. So there's not really a studio, so to speak. But they have preferred to, let's say, to have it on the sidewalk, in front of Porto's, or on Alex Theater courtyard and places like that. We could have the greenery around the Central Library also as a space for those artists. That's basically what I'm saying. I'm not trying to combine Arts in the Park with open studio tour. I'm just saying that, because the location of Central Library is a really good crowd puller, we might be able to display more artists who participate in the open studio tour in that specific area. I'm not suggesting to combine the two events.
Okay. How do you feel about Chuck Festival?
How does the Commission think about the Art Chuck Festival?
I like it. I'm for it.
Okay. I must.
May I say something? I mean this as a joke, more or less, but I was appreciated what he did last year, but I would like this time the subject matter to be something different, or not. Let me go back and say the subject matter last year that was to me not very appropriate one, or because basically I don't believe that a gentleman in a white beard created the sun and the moon. What I'm saying is so let's just make sure this time if we do that first of all it is a chalk art, and it is on the ground, and it's like many people that take part, and also we have some input on the subject matter, and or maybe there's a theme to it. It's just something that's just a thought I had, because as a first work that was being done, I wasn't involved in the selection, and I'm sure everyone thought it was a good idea, but as a first thought, it should have been more something more universal, or something more representative, rather than that kind of a specific thing, a picture with a religious theme of
Michelangelo's.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, it just slightly bothered me. That's why I'm mentioning it. But so I would like more input on the what it is that people are going to do. What maybe suggest a theme, or that was just a thought.
So basically, what you are suggesting is that the theme should be kind of discussed and agreed by the commission. Is that what you're saying?
Or suggest several themes. Now that we presumably will have more than one artist. And
that's the whole idea.
Like,
to have a chalk
let there be clash of ideas there, or whatever, and it just a lot of people just get on with it, and the other thing about the chalk art is like I know I like the fact that it's not a permanent thing. It's there and it's gone. It's like theater, or it's like it's not like a painting, but it's like theater or dance. That's it, that image, and then it's gone, after a day or a rain or something. But that's just my thought on it. I don't. But let me ask you a question. When you say, is this all we're suggesting for 2009, or is it just up to
2009?
This is all that we're suggesting that we do, or Arts and Culture Commission does? Because it seems to me it's not enough.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm just new at this. I'm asking a question. What is it?
These are the current plans and the projects and events that we hold. In addition, we have Diamond Awards and other things that come up. And with the very limited staff and very limited budget that we have, I think this is quite a handful, and I would personally like to see a lot more, but really we have to be practical and pragmatic and see what we can do in
And you need to
those
remember these
circumstances.
are citywide events. These are huge, big projects to organize.
Yeah, because the way I'm looking at it, we're done by mid-June or July.
No,
No.
in
But
September we have.
what goes on?
Well, remember, she's talking about quarterly educational workshops
Oh, the workshops.
as well. So
Right. Yeah.
one is really 4 events right there.
Sorry.
We can always add,
Yeah. No,
perhaps. I won't. I don't want to say it too invitingly, but
Okay, any other comments on these projects? Richard, did you want to talk about the man's in man-to-man now or later on?
No, now is the best time to talk about it because it's the reports. We don't have any other item. The next item will be the Diamond Awards action item, but Men's in Humanity will be the most interesting project to talk about right now. And I will ask you to share the latest information with all of us, please.
Oh, you need me to reveal all my secrets?
Because I must say without your hard work and efforts, and Arlette Derhovanesyan, Commissioner Derhovanesyan and Commissioner Razmi Grigoryan's efforts really paid off by going after and bringing this great donor to sponsor our event.
All right, let me just give you a very quick background on this, if the commissioners want. Obviously, we are aware of the Men's in Humanity to Man event, and that is going to take place from April 4th to May 8th, and it is an event requested by the city councilman Najarian, who wanted the art component to be included in this year's event of Week of Remembrance and the commemoration of the Armenian genocide and the other atrocities during the history. So we did form the subcommittee. The commissioners are quite aware of that, and the subcommittee has met several times, and the main issue was the funding and whether we have enough funds to do all these grandiose plans that the subcommittee was envisioning. Of course, funding was important in these very hard economic times and the very limited budget that the city has. What the subcommittee was thinking was not really possible through the public funds, so we thought maybe we should go out and start doing some fundraising efforts. At a meeting, and I'm not going to do into much detail because things are not finalized, but at a meeting, a public meeting during the Christmas period, Commissioner Derhovanesyan and myself approached a very prominent person in town. We discussed a few things, and they said, okay, and we suggested this funding possibility, and we wanted to kind of test the waters, as they say. And we thought it was very positive. So we hoped that we could get a meeting and see what the possibilities are. During the holiday period, everybody was out of town, everybody busy partying, etc. And the subcommittee was also trying to see what we really need and what we can do. So the good news is that I met with this group of people and the company yesterday, and an incredibly, I'm not going to let the names out yet because we haven't finalized exactly what we want to do, but I'm very, very pleased that this very generous gentleman and his team committed verbally to donate $10,000 to this event. And that is a huge donation. It's a great amount of money that we have been able to secure. We haven't signed the formal paperwork, and we haven't received a check yet. But I know this gentleman and his crew are so honorable that they will not negate on their commitment. So I'm just hoping that we will do the paperwork, get the check, and do a great, great event. And of course, we will thank them in the brochure, in the flyer, and everything. And you know, the two things. Some people might think that, oh, there is a business, whatever. Although this gentleman and his company do business in city of Glendale, but I know the way we talked, it wasn't that the main reason. The main reason was his own feeling towards this project, the humanity of it, and it's basically it was the feeling that this exhibition and this art event will create among various people and different races and cultures and colors and religions and whatever. That's what we are hoping. And basically that was his, the moment he heard what the purpose of this exhibition is, I mean, his eyes were really bright and sparkling, and, he didn't even hesitate to say yes. So, maybe we could have asked more, but I'm just kidding. I think $10,000 is a great amount of money that he committed, and I just thank him personally now, and hopefully very soon everything will be officialized, and then we will thank him appropriately. But the good news is we have secured a commitment of a $10,000 donation to this Man in Humanity to Man.
Great.
Yes.
What is the budget for this part of it, if there is one, is
Men's in Humanity.
for this piece of it, for the commissions, the art?
The Men's in Humanity to Man event, the
Yes.
one that we are handling,
The one that we are
it's
handling.
approximately $10,000.
Wow.
Yes. So he is willing to undertake the entire cost, and we will obviously try to keep it as low as possible. And if it goes slightly over the budget, we might try to find other sources, or he might underwrite that too, but I'm not saying. Right now we have a 10,000 budget, and we definitely have to accommodate that.
Can I encourage you both to keep going to parties?
Well, we had actually a meeting, and I said rather than me going to our the subcommittee meeting, it's better to go there because we need that. And in the prior sessions, we discussed about more or less how much we are going to need to have it the way we want it done. So Razmi came with that some sort of more or less. So when we approached the guy, so hopefully we'll get. And there are lots of people who are going to help us to make it happen also within this process. We'll thank them all appropriately.
So the good news also is that because of this huge breathing space that we have and this very generous funding that we have, the good news is that we will be able to get professional people to curate the proper exhibition. We will be able to get really quality art in there. We are planning poetry, we are planning dancing, we are planning music, and all kinds of other events. I was in another function with Mayor Drayman yesterday, and we just spoke very briefly on this April 4th opening event, and he was very excited. He immediately put it in his BlackBerry and made sure that he will be there. So there is already some excitement in the officials and in the community, and I know that when the main committee of the genocide commemoration event knows about this, they already probably know, but when officially is announced, and that, I think they will be ecstatic, and they will probably start chasing Commissioner Deravanesian for more fundraising.
What is the time of the event on the 4th?
We don't have the exact time, but it will be in the afternoon. April 4th, I believe, is Saturday. Yes, and so it probably will be about 3, 4, 5 o'clock. I mean, the subcommittee has to still decide the exact program, but it will be the opening of the exhibition. Is it 5 to 8 already decided?
No, I have to double check with Elisa. Usually, I said.
Yeah, usually. Well, we don't know yet, but Saturday is quite open, so we could use any time that we want. That's basically
we already have our flyers ready, and it's ready to go out. But now I think it will be a good idea for us to wait until we get the funds and the information from the donor, from the sponsor, and a logo, which should be placed on our flyers. Absolutely. And the promotional materials.
So the subcommittee has a lot more work to do, and again, everybody is welcome to join. I encourage the public to also contact us, and if they have any input or any recommendations or any suggestions, or they would want to volunteer for this great event, I encourage them to contact us at the City Hall. We have a new audience here, right? Okay, no. I encourage them to contact the City Hall, the Parks and Rec Department, Ms. Marashian, our current administrator, and the phone number is 818-548-2780. Again, 548-2780. That's where you can contact Ms. Marashian for this event. And also I encourage artists to start submitting work, and hopefully we'll have a great event. That's basically my report.
And we are hoping maybe we'll get some private collections of authentic photography from different events, historical events, to be also on display. So we are working very hard, and she does more than anybody could believe, time spent, so to put everything together. Hopefully we'll have all done right on time.
Any other questions from other commissioners? Okay.
You'll keep us posted on what you need from us, I trust.
We need a lot of work, a lot of money, and a lot of good ideas. Yes, we will. Any other comments? Okay, let's go on the next item, please.
Action items, Diamond Awards, approval of reception date.
Okay. As I announced at the last meeting, as of now, we have 19 nominations, and we already started the process. Calling the judges, potential judges, to make sure that they will be able to serve on this panel. But the most important part of this item is to decide when we would like to keep the reception ceremony. We just need to remember that Men's Inhumanity to Men is scheduled for April 4, and staff recommends that if we do it right after the show gets hanged, Men's Inhumanity to Men, after April 4th, then we will have a time to breathe and be able to organize the Diamond Awards ceremony, because there are so many details that needs to be handled, like the catering, promotions, postcards, trophies, press releases.
Could I
So
ask?
we recommend that we should do it maybe sometimes in April or maybe after the Men's Inhumanity is completely done.
Just a little correction. It starts from April 4th and it goes to May 8th. And we are going to have different events during that time, different Saturdays or Sundays
Sure.
organized. So it's going to be a little bit more extended, but meanwhile, yes, as far as the reception part of the deal, we can work on that.
Anybody has any suggestions? Can we schedule maybe early May? Will that be better?
Do you have a date in mind, and do we have enough space?
We are going to move forward with doing all the other programming and organizing section. All we need to know is if it's okay with you to reserve the location for May, early May, let's say. Will that be okay?
I think it would be preferable,
Yes.
particularly
I would prefer June.
June.
May's Asian.
June has many culmination activities throughout the community, graduations, promotions. Even May has performances, and we have some student groups that may be affected. So it gets tricky.
It doesn't have to be a weekend. It can be a weekday, Thursday night or Wednesday night even.
What was the issue with the Asian community in May?
It's the National Asian Pacific American Heritage Month, the entire month of May. It's a big celebration, especially in LA. I actually sit on the committee.
How do you think our one evening event will hinder that month?
Oh no, just time-wise, I might have to go to a couple functions at the same time.
Okay.
We'll arrange for that, so
Just
you'll
for
be
me.
with us.
Okay.
Oh, we want you there.
Well, if not,
Okay.
what is it?
Do you have your calendar for when are the dates you have to be there?
No, we
specifically?
haven't met yet
Okay.
to formalize the calendar.
Okay, so based on this, do you have any comments?
No.
So probably early, we have to consider early May, and then maybe Commissioner Lee will tell us, the days that he may not be available, and we'll try to accommodate him.
Okay. Thank
Right.
you.
But unless you can incorporate some type of Asian flavor to Asian theme to it, then I can have it incorporated as part of the
We can get
the
creative.
celebration.
That's really a good idea. So maybe
Very
we
good
should
idea.
assign him to come with great ideas.
Are you talking
You
about the
opened your mouth
Diamond
already.
Awards?
Yes, the Diamond Awards. Yes.
Because there's no one here that I can tell, that it could in any way be.
Yeah, there's one Asian, Lin Chun.
Oh,
Or no,
We
no,
do have a-
Oh, no, that's the nominator. Sorry.
I think
That's
would be.
why
I think
you
would
were
be twisting it.
encouraged to nominate, to bring your own nominations.
I'm trying to remember when we had the event at Edison Pacific. Was that on a Saturday?
Richard will
I think it was a
remember.
Saturday.
I think it was a Saturday. It would be. It's hard to know until we have the selections what the effect would be. Student groups. There are people on here who are connected to schools who will be having performances of their own. It might be important to check the calendar, like the GUSD calendar, the school, the performance schedules, just so we don't try to schedule something when some people who might be affected, might be winners, could definitely not come, So But I,
another
but
challenge.
if you
to make sure that everybody's in town and they will be available.
would it be from the perspective of the committee, the Man's and Humanity Command Committee, would you think it important that it be after May 8th?
Mm-hmm.
So in that,
Okay.
so there's no rest for you.
So did you want us to make a motion and, move forward? This is an action item. We can
Yes.
we can
As long
take an
as
action if you like. What action would you like us to take to approve around May?
May will be our suggestions. If May is okay with you, then we can go ahead
work.
and.
Okay, so if there are no more comments, shall we entertain a motion?
I move that we work toward a schedule in May and that RIPSI may find a date that works and go for it.
And then hopefully by the next meeting, I will have more information to share with you.
Yeah, and I second the motion.
Oh.
Okay.
No, I had a question.
No, if you have a question or discussion, we can open it now, but let's be as brief as we can. We already discussed this, but have your question.
No, I was just thinking, is this the list we're going to, these are the nominated people or the organizations?
Correct.
It is stopped, I mean...
It has been extended too many times, so we
All right,
decided
okay.
that the last day will be December 31st.
Right, no, I just want to confirm, that's fine, thank you.
Okay.
And just a correction on your memo.
Okay.
December 2008, you put December 2009.
Yes.
Oh,
Because I was looking, wait a minute, did we
Okay.
extend it another year?
That's a good point.
thank you.
Yes. Okay. So there is a motion and seconded.
Could I ask a question again?
Go ahead.
Based on the number of the list of the organizations, based on the discussions we had in our subcommittee in December, aren't we adding any other names because we discussed about?
That's
We received only two more. One was nominated by Commissioner Solis and another one.
Okay.
So maybe, now that we are on this item, and although we have a motion on the table, maybe we can extend this, since it's going to be in May, to the end of this month. You want to do that? And then Commissioner Stepanian and Commissioner Devaranisan can add their people there.
That would be preferable, but it's totally up to you.
Would you like to do that? We can do that. I'm sure we can.
Sorry,
Extending
The deadline for
Deadline
submission
again.
of the new candidates. Well, if we have time and if
As long
there are
as we
we can
people...
don't
put them
have
in for
to-
next year.
As long as
Yes,
we-
Mr. Grant.
Commissioner, this wasn't really on notice, this item about extending the deadline. You certainly could put it on for next month if you wanted to really extend it. I know it's a little late, but really the only thing that we need to focus on is, the time of it, this event.
So only the timing of it
The
because of...
reception
Okay,
date.
yeah, that's a good point.
And we can table
That's a
it
good
for
point.
next time
I-
as an action item.
I
That's a
would
good point.
urge that we're going forward, the committee is planning to meet. They may be meeting before any, I think we need to stick with the list. We've been noticed on many occasions. Whoever's there are the nominees, and if there are always new people we might add, we wish we had, but they can be added. It's good to know that we have groups going forward into next year, for the next time at awards. That would be I don't think there should be any confusion or any question about extending. I think we've been clear, and it does not serve this body or the public to
Extend
change it again, I think. So
Okay,
I would
so
hope we can move forward.
with that, we already have a motion on the table. If
And
there
it
is
was
no...
second.
And the motion is second, that's why it's on the table. If there is no more discussions, let's go on a roll call, please.
Commissioner Stepanian?
Aye.
Is the motion clear, by the way? I'm sorry, before the roll call. Is it clear? We are just changing the date and recommending what Commissioner Wagner...
Can you reset the motion?
Move to work towards scheduling a date for the event in May, and that staff will work to secure a specific date.
Yes. Okay. It's clear? All right, let's
The
go on
date
the
of the actual event of the...
It's sometime in May.
Okay, aye.
Okay. Commissioner Lee?
Yes.
Commissioner Devanesian?
Yes?
Commissioner Solis?
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner?
Yes.
Commissioner Gregorian?
Yes.
Chairperson Kivanian is absent.
Okay, next item, please.
Commission staff comments.
Okay, any comments? Staff has already made their comments?
I'll be more than happy to let you know that I was interviewed for the local radio station, KRLA, and I was able to share all the art projects that we are planning to do in 2009. It was a 12-and-a-half-minute interview, but I wasn't able to hear it. I don't know. I didn't have a radio handy.
Oh. Well,
So that was exciting.
it was on the
Great.
activities of the Arts and Culture Commission and what you do for the...
Oh, yes. It was about the public affairs, cultural affairs in the city of Glendale and the upcoming projects in 2009. And also we talked about the projects we completed in 2008. So it was a great, short, and good interview.
Thank you.
Great. Any other comments? Yes, Commissioner Wagner.
First of all, I saw your picture in Oregark, but I couldn't read the article.
Everyone says that, huh?
They did?
was an
Okay.
So
Bob said the same
congratulations, whatever it said, it was a great picture, or two.
Thank you.
Um,
Congratulations to the photographer then. Yes, thank you. I'll give you a little report on that.
Okay. I thought it was interesting. I had a meeting of the Workforce Investment Board this morning, and part of that discussion was about arts and the business community, the motion picture industry, technical education for people in the industry, and the efforts moving forward. But again, a reminder of the economic value of arts in the community, and training and opportunities, training like the workshops you're talking about, and certainly for our students. I would look forward, as those trainings come about, to let them know, to give them a closer connection between what they enjoy when they're studying art and how they might
how to manage their career.
how to manage their career. I would be happy to share that information. The schools, well, along with many other state and governmental organizations, is faced with these gigantic budgetary threats. So it's a very difficult time moving forward. But in the midst of that, we had our first, in the district, we had our first committee meeting, district committee of the Arts for All. We have joined the Arts for All with the LA County. We met with a consultant who was guiding the conversation of representatives, both representatives from the schools and some from the community, including Alyssa Glickman from the Alex, who's going to be co-chairing the committee. So it was hopeful to be able to imagine more opportunities for our students, even in these dire economic times. So that's all I'll share at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from other commissioners?
In general?
Yes, just about 2-3 minutes.
I had an introductory meeting with Mr. Chavjan and Ms. Marashian yesterday, and I was two things. We spoke many things, and he was asking me what I was thinking and why I'm here, basically. And the two things that I said, among other things, was first I said. I gave the example of the Armenian cultural organizations, the Mutunes, and I said to him that I have found it in my 35 years experience in doing cultural and artistic work within the Armenian community and outside it. I found what they do is woefully inadequate. Now, they themselves, most of them think what they're doing is enough, great, fantastic, it preserves our art and culture and everything. I think it's just pathetic. So, and I said, I'm not going to join another organization, whatever it is, if it's not going to do enough work for make it interesting or worthwhile or be effective or actually move things. make a difference. So at the moment, I'm not suggesting that anything except that that's what I said to him about, and I was talking about specifically. I mean, the other thing we spoke about was I was telling him, and what you just said about the person who's going to sponsor the Man in Humanities to Man project. What I said to him was, because last time we were here in this meeting, I heard the same thing that I heard today, that we don't have enough staff, we don't have money, and this and that, Arts and Culture Commission. And what I said to him was that there is an element that I'm hoping that will be tapped, if it hasn't been tapped so far, which is this commission or any other organization can apply, can ask people to volunteer and help and participate. We don't have to always say, okay, we can only do this because we have $10,000 or $100,000. We ask, and you shall be given. I'm a complete atheist, but you know, or if you build it, they will come. It's so that's what it is. I find I cannot make a comment right now because I don't know. You may be right in saying that all these projects that are written out here are quite a lot and sufficient for Glendale. I don't really know that just yet, but on paper it seems to me it's like okay, you know, it's nice little projects. Okay, grant writing, yes, all right, but nothing here is what perhaps the chalk art thing was, which is to start something, to show people there is this thing that you can do this. Go ahead and do it. There's nothing here that kind of would excite something new, some movement, some clash of ideas, clash of artistic styles or anything.
Commissioner Stepan, I'm sorry, I don't really mean to interrupt you. But let's be as brief as possible. It's about 2-3 minutes for each commissioner on this staff comment. So,
sorry?
Can you please summarize it and try to be brief? We need to really.
Okay, all right. Let's leave it at that then.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Any other comments?
I mean, is this is there a time limit on what?
Well, generally during this time,
because I wasn't told about any time limits.
Well, generally this is the time where there are brief announcement and brief comments when the commissioners make those announcements, and
right.
Usually a longer discussion is during the time when there's an action item or where there's a report.
Okay. May I suggest an action item next time?
Yes, certainly. If you'd like to have an action item on the agenda, yes, definitely you can do that.
Or perhaps a discussion item?
Yes.
Unless there's action is when we know what we're going to vote for, and not when we're going to...
You can even put
a
it up for
discussion
discussion.
item,
Sure.
whatever the term is.
Sure.
Forgive me, I'm new at this. Whatever the right term is, yes. Let's have a discussion about this. Let's have a discussion about. I'm suggesting, is what Arts and Culture Commission doing enough? I can't, you know. I just want to know.
Do we know the topic? Okay. All right. Is that?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments by any commissioner? You want to respond to that? There is no debate in here. Just let's not respond to it.
I just wondered if perhaps it would be useful for him to have a conversation with one of us or with Ripsime before the next meeting. Maybe an update on where we've been
Yes,
in
that would be a
these
good idea.
discussions and where this commission in some future forum might go. Because I think you might not be aware that it's a topic we've all
I was going to
shared.
suggest the same thing. Maybe
Okay.
you would like to meet with one or two of the commissioners who have been here many years, and they can share some of the inside areas. The questions that you have will be answered by them or by me. You're welcome to spend a day with me in my office to have better idea about what kind of projects we do, how much work is involved.
Right. No.
And you're welcome to bring your ideas and your suggestions, of course.
Well, I was under the impression that our meeting yesterday was kind of part of that already.
It was a lunch.
Oh, it was a lunch.
Okay.
Yes. It was a nice lunch.
Social
That's why we were
Welcome
excluded.
to that way.
Okay.
Very good sandwich.
All right. Let's have the next. Yes, Commissioner Lee.
Oh, if it's a time for a plug, I'll put on my vice president of the Chinese Chamber hat again. If anybody has time this Saturday night, the Miss LA Chinatown pageant again. It's at the Western Bonaventure at social hours between 6 and 7, dinners from 7 to 8, and the actual pageant competition and coronation will be from somewhere between 8 and midnight. We still have some tickets available, and if there's any takers, I personally will sponsor $500 of your meal or of the ticket if you purchase a table of 10. So anybody who has any questions, go to the website www.lachinesechamber.org or call the chamber office at area code 213-617-0396. Also put in your calendars for a fun weekend in Chinatown for January 31st and February 1st. It's the welcoming of the Chinese New Year, Year of the Ox. We will have a parade that starts at 2 o'clock, and we will have, the festival will be from 10 to 7 on Saturday and 10 to 6 on Sunday. Okay, so hopefully everybody can come out. Thank you.
Question. Anybody who purchases or buys a table of 10, you'll pay $500 off?
I'll
or
sponsor
just the
$500.
commission? Anybody.
Anybody.
Good, wonderful. What a
So
great.
make a call if you're interested.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? Let me just make a couple of comments and announcements. The Commissioner Wagner referred to the article in the Armenian language newspaper Oragark. I was privileged to be approached by their editor, Mr. Zarya Ajemian, who asked to interview me. At the time I was the chair of the commission, and the official chair, not the pro tem, and he asked if he could talk to me about the Arts and Culture Commission and the plans we have, the issues we are facing, etc., etc. It was a very good article. I thank him for two reasons. First, to give us the opportunity to appear on that newspaper. We have many Armenian-speaking people in Glendale, some of whom do not read English that well. So that was an opportunity for them to get acquainted with our commission. It was a full-page article. Some questions and answers interview. I mean, the whole page 3 was allocated to this, and it was a very, very good interview. And I thank him also not to distort whatever I said, because some reporters are used to that. But this one was quite clean and clear and concise, and it appeared on the December 2008 issue of Oragark. I think it's issue number 38 or 138. 38, right? This December issue of Oragark. So if anybody is interested, you can refer to that newspaper. It's a very nice newspaper, and also it discusses issues locally, and this interview was conducted and put in there. And again, I thank Mr. Ajemian for that. And in addition to that, I would like to announce two events. On the one of the local artists, Julie Snyder, a good friend of our commission, is having an exhibition and reception in the, I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it, in Sigil Fine Art and Danielac Art. So our other friend, Margaret Danielac, is organizing this this event. The opening reception is Saturday, January 17th, 2009, from 5 to 7 p.m. The address is somewhat a little out of Glendale, but still it's a local artist and a local organization I believe we should support. And the address is at Sigil Fine Art Gallery at 110 West Lime Avenue in Old Town, Monrovia, in California, of course. And the phone number to reach them is 626-683-9922. So I encourage the public to attend this reception and support our local artists. The exhibition, by the way, will be from January 12th to January 31, 2009. And also the Forest Lawn Museum is having an incredibly interesting exhibition of works in there on Thursday, January 29, 2009. That's a week from today. I'm sorry, 2 weeks from today at 6 p.m. at Forest Lawn Museum, and that is on 1712 South Glendale Avenue in Glendale. They need RSVPs, so the phone number to RSVP by January 22nd is 323-340-4792, and this exhibition features work of 40 artists from the Braille Institute's Creative Art Program. And so probably most of the artists would be, visually impaired, and but they have developed skills to foster independence, personal expression, and social community development. I think this is a great exhibition to support. Again, on January 29th, 6 p.m. at the Forest Lawn Museum. With that, I believe Dilijan also has a concert this Sunday at the Zipper Hall. Their concerts usually start at 3 p.m. and unfortunately I forgot to bring their card so that I would announce what the composers are. But Dilijan usually, which is a part of the Lark Musical Society, is usually with great programs and great international artists. So 3 o'clock this Sunday at the Zipper Hall in Los Angeles. With that, I finish my announcements. Any other comments or announcements? Okay. Shall we have the next item on the agenda, please?
Written communications, I have none.
Okay. And the next meeting of the regular Arts and Culture Commission meeting will be on February 19th, 2009 at 2 p.m. in this very same place. With that, I wish our viewers all the best of New Year again, and we'll see you next month. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.